Uh, hello? Hello, hello? Can anybody hear me? It says that there are currently 2 or 3 people watching live, so. Oh, alright. I just got a notification on my phone, says I'm live. Let me know. Hey, what's up, Moldy Crow? Hope you're doing good. Hope everyone. I hope everybody else watching is also doing good. Alright. So, for those of you who aren't in the Discord server, which, speaking of which, I'm gonna link it right now since I mention it. There you go. Here's the link to the Discord. Join the Discord if you want to get access to these projects and stuff, so that you can use them as a reference for your own projects. Basically, after yesterday's stream, which was obviously like much longer than I expected, I actually managed to fix the what's it called, the script, like the grid builder script. I actually managed to get it to work. So first things first, I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go through the script, and I'm going to explain to you guys like what the problems were, how I managed to fix it. It took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours afterwards to get it working and fix it properly and everything. Um, and Fuck, what was I saying? Yeah, and so I'm gonna go through it and like explain to you guys how I got it to work and like what the logic was, because I made a bunch of changes, right? I'm gonna explain to you guys what basically how it was originally, then what the changes were, and now what they look like, right? But as of right now, I'm just gonna press play and show you what it looks like now, right? So now we're waiting for it to properly set up. There you go, right? So obviously the darker water is deeper, the brighter water is shallower. The grass here, you know, is like that. If we zoom out, it looks like that, basically, right? Then if I press pause, replay it, it looks very pixelated, right? Like very retro. It reminds me of like the old, like the OG, what are they called? Um, like Pokemon games and Zelda games and whatever, like the 2D GameCube games, basically. It reminds me of, right? What else? Hold on, let's play it a third time just to see the different variants that are shown here, like that. Let's see. There you go. Something I've noticed is that usually it's either mostly water with barely with barely any land, or the opposite, mostly land with barely any water, right? Let's just go here and get the materials. Here, this one I'm gonna make it much darker, like that. Yeah, like proper dark. This one I'm gonna make it a bit more like that. Well, let's do it like that. Okay. This one we're gonna make it a tiny bit more green, but it's a little too green. So okay, there you go. So now let's save. There you go. So again, like I'm gonna generate a terrain one more time, and then I'm gonna actually go into the script and ah, is that too green? Is that a little, is the green a little too green, or is it Okay. It is a little too green. Okay, hold on. Let's make it a little bit. So if I make it like that, it's basically the same. Is this maybe like this? Like that. Okay. And then this one we're gonna make it a tiny bit more yellow. Okay. And then this one a tiny bit more green. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay. So that's good. All right. So so let me explain, right? So the way the grid was working so far is we had 6 different colors, right? We had blue, black, green, red, yellow, and white. Those were the 6 styles that we had, right? Then and what I basically created, if we go back here into the script, not populate grid, right here, okay, there you go. Here I have like the different combinations that I tried out, right, with all 6 colors, right? Like with the positive and negative and so on and so forth, right? Now the thing is, in order to make it look better and not as bad, I started towards the end of yesterday's stream. I said it was gonna take me like 15 minutes, but it ended up taking me like more than an hour. And like I still wasn't done, and I ended up ending the stream, right? But the idea is that I decided to kind of flesh out the tile system a bit more, and instead of having like a bunch of placeholder, like, you know, like prototype tiles, like the red tile, the yellow tile, the whatever, blue tile, etc., etc. I was like, okay, no, like let's make it. Hold on. Here we go. Let's make it more legit, right? Let's make it look much closer to this, right? Where we have like different tiles, like green, yellow, like dark green, light green, yellow, like water tiles, so on and so forth, right? And in order to do that, to make it more like consistent, right? Like we're using the game Kingdoms and Castles as a reference point, right? Like I really like that game. I think it's pretty much my favorite city builder so far. Because it that game has mastered the concept of keep it simple and stupid, right? And like less is more, right? And so again, like if you're interested in making a city builder game, like play that game because it's really good. It's like a master class of how to have very intuitive gameplay and like a very fun gameplay loop, right? And so the idea is I started transitioning from the prototype tiles, which are like the yellow, green, red, blue, whatever, right? Those tiles to something a bit slightly more complex, right? Which is basically, so the original logic, right, was we have a bunch of lists here, right? In our grid builder, we have a bunch of lists, and here we have a prefab reference to the placeholder grid tile, right? So initially, here in the spawn placeholder grid tiles function, we just spawn a bunch of placeholder grid tiles, which are like the transparent white ones. And you know, this is basically the same script we used for the tower defense game, right? Then what we do afterwards is here we had a grid tile prefabs list. These 2 lists did not exist, right? And I had the tile type variable, which determined like, is it a red tile? Is it a black tile? Is it a green tile? So on and so forth, right? But instead, what I ended up doing is I ended up creating 2 variables. I have a tile type variable, and then I have a tile subtype variable, right? So here in the grid, we have tile type, which is an integer because it's easier that way to use this variable directly with the lists we have inside of the grid builder, right? And then we have land subtype and water subtype, right? Hold on here. I still have the resource thing. We're going to remove that. If you remember, I had land, water, resources. I ended up removing resources just because it didn't actually fit into the logic of the game design that I'm currently creating, right? So the idea is you have a tile type, which is it's either a land tile or a water tile, basically, right? Then we have a subtype, which is either, if it's land, it's either arid land, normal land, fertile land, or deep salt water, shallow salt water, or fresh water, basically, right? And so the idea, if we go back to our grid builder, is first function is spawn placeholder grid tiles. As I said, this is the exact same as the tower defense, right? No, like pretty much no changes here. I haven't touched this since like last week, right? Since I created it. So we're not touching this. Then once it's done, once we've spawned all of our placeholder ones, we replace some of the placeholder tiles with actual grid tiles based on our grid tile prefabs list, right? Now back then in the old version, I had 6 prefabs in that list, which were the white tile, black, blue, green, blue, red, green, yellow, right? Now what I changed it to was all of the different land and water tiles, right? So if we go back to here, you can see land 0, land 1, land 2, water 0, water 1, water 2, right? We're keeping it simple, right? And so basically here, this function here spawns however many we've determined that we need to spawn, however many tiles of any of these subtypes, right? So it might spawn a fertile land tile at a random place. It might spawn an arid land one. It might spawn a shallow water or a deep water or whatever, right? And then once we've spawned all of these, right, these initial tiles, then we move on to tile influence, which is, again, this one we basically didn't touch it, right? And all we did was add, you know, like how tiles spread their influence, and the further away from the original tile you are, the more, how can I say, the less influence there is, right? Now back then, because we had 6 different tile types, they were all competing with one another based on how strong the red influence is as opposed to the blue one, as opposed to X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 right? Now, because the only 2 types we have are land or water, it's a bit easier, and basically in the influence types list, this used to be called base influence types list or something like that, right? I changed it here. I changed it to influence types list, right? So influence type and influence value. So because there are only 2 influence types, there's only 2 indexes, index 0, which is for the land tiles, and index 1 for the water tiles. So the idea is that, hold on, let me just actually generate the terrain. It's going to be easier for me to explain. Oh, fuck, right. I forgot to zoom in. Sorry. Let me just zoom in. There you go. Okay, so, yeah, sorry. So basically here, right? This is the script that adds influence to tiles based on the proximity, right? It adds influence from the actual grid tiles that are currently spawned, a couple of them, like the 10 to 30 or however many that are spawned, right? It adds influence, And the further away from the normal tile a placeholder tile is, the less influence it receives, right? Now, on top of that, because I now only have two tile types, right? They're all basically giving different levels of influence based on the tile's strength, right? So in other words, what I did is that those dark blue tiles here, I think the basic influence that they add is like 150 basically, right? The normal blue tiles add 100 influence, and the light blue ones only add 50. And then it's the same thing for the dark green, light green, and yellow, right? Dark green is 150, normal green is 100, and yellow is 50 basically, right? And so that's what allows us to have like this these natural looking visuals, right? Because the idea is, and like technically here you can see, right? So probably the tiles that got spawned are these ones here that are like randomly in the middle of the what's it called, of the dark green ones. But then because they all stacked each other, right, and there are no like blue tiles nearby, right, the influence ends up stacking, right? And so just to explain to you how the whole basically the big modification I did to the adjust tile type influence, right, is that, you know, before we used positive and negative or whatever, right, in order to do like the combos, right? Like for the white tile, positive is white and black, negative is everything else, right? So on and so forth, right? Now instead, what I did is simple. It's just because we only have two different tile types, we have land or water. Well, it's simple. When you're checking, so first things first, right? Here we go through every single placeholder grid tile in our list, right? We get access to its script. And then within this loop, which this loop index 0, is what allows us to access each placeholder tile. But then for each placeholder tile, right, we go into its influence types list, which again, there are only two influence types, so there are only going to be two loops, right? And then the first loop, we look, does it have a tile type assigned to it? If the tile type is less than 0, meaning there's no tile type assigned to it, right? Then first check what the land influence is, right? And in our temporary variable for type positive influence, give it the value of the land influence. How much land influence does it get, right? So land influence, and then here we're going to do water influence, right? And then influence, and then here it's going to be if land stronger than water, this so current placeholder tile becomes a land tile, right? There you go. And now we're just gonna do the same thing here. Becomes a water tile if water is stronger than land. There you go. Hold on. Water influence, land influence. There you go. Yeah, so basically what we're doing is we take how much land influence this tile has versus how much water influence has it received, right? And then if it has more water influence if it has more land influence than water influence, right? Then it's simple. We just assign it a assign its type, which is land, right? So now we know for a fact that this is a land tile, and then we check how much more land influence does it have, right? Does it have more than twice the amount of land influence, right? So let's say it has 100 water influence. If it has 200 or more land influence, then it's gonna be a fertile tile, right? If it has only 1.5 times the water influence, it's gonna be a normal tile. And then if it has less than 1.5 times, then it's simply an arid tile, for instance, right? And what else? And then it's the exact same thing but reversed for the water tiles, right? We compare the water influence with the land influence. If the water influence is greater than the land influence, then it's for sure a land tile, right? At which point we check how much more water influence is there. If there's at least twice as much water influence than land influence, it's a deep water tile. If there's only 1.5 times, it's a normal water tile. And if it's if there's less than 1.5 times the influence, it's a shallow water tile, for instance, right? Something else I could do. So right now, the way it's built is basically, it looks like those are like beaches, right? Those are like beaches around the water, right? But let me show you. If I were to simply change, basically, let me just do this like that. Okay, and then here it's gonna be 1 again, and then 0. Okay, like that. There you go. So I just changed these 3 lines of code, and now it's going to be the opposite, basically, right? Now, basically, the dark green is going to be around the water, you know? So let's just let it load. All right. Let's just, yeah, see? Oh, fuck, hold on. So now, you see, it's basically like the opposite. Now the problem is it spawned me with basically an ocean level. So let's respawn it and see. Oh no no. Oh, there you go. Hopefully this time. Yeah, see? So now it's basically like the opposite, right? Now it's basically like here, the closer it is to water, the more green it is. And then like the further away. So let me see if I can create like a desert with let me see if I can create a desert with like oases and stuff. Let's say 3 and 5. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Let's see if I can create like some sort of desert with a bunch of oases. Yeah, there you go. See, so this is like a big desert level with like a couple of, you know, green patches, oases, etc., right? So do you see how like versatile I've made the script? I think it's pretty fun, right? So let me just redo it how it was before, just to keep it simple, right? Okay, there you go. There you go. And then the last thing is basically, so as I said, right, like here, by comparing the influence levels, we are able to determine whether it's a water tile or a land tile, right? And then, what's it called? And then here, depending on the discrepancy between the two influence levels, we know which specific tile type it is, right? And again, like this code can be completely adjusted if you want like more than only three land tiles, right? Maybe you want like five different tiles where like um, it goes from, let's say, some a red orange tile that's like very 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 arid, like completely barren land, or maybe even black or gray land which is like blighted, right? Then it's like yellow arid, then it's like light green, then dark green, and then maybe like it becomes white if there's like snow or something, right? I imagine the Apache choppers flying around the oasis, going Desert Storm. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and so basically, as I said, like it's very versatile. You can really um, change it to however you want, and you can again like you can add more uh, different tile types and influence types, right? And so you can end up with like more than only two tile types, right? Like I kept it simple here just to keep it intuitive, right? And so basically the idea is once we've assigned the tile type and the tile subtype, we go into the populate. Oh yeah, and here it's just for those few placeholder tiles that are neither land greater than water nor water greater than land. It's transform them into a random random tile of any type and subtype. There you go, right? So basically, I added this because for those of you who were in the Discord server, the pictures I posted last night. Well, actually, why the fuck am I describing it to you? I'm gonna show you guys. Is this? Yeah, no. Okay, so this is the version that actually works, right? And then yeah, if you look at here, see there are certain tiles that just like disappeared, right? And it's because it's basically because this code here didn't exist, right? Because the way I've coded it here is the tile type ID is less than 0, right? Then here it checks if there's more land influence than water, then it becomes a land tile. And the opposite here, if there's more water influence than land influence, it becomes a water tile. But what if they're like equal, right? What if like they're basically both exactly equal? Well, it's never gonna work, right? Like it's never gonna update the tile type, which means that once we get here into the populate grid, this thing adjust tile subtype influence, it's not really needed anymore. I'm just gonna delete it like that. There you go. Basically here populate grid, what it does is it comes in checks, right? It's a once again a for loop going through every single placeholder grid tile, and it says, okay, what type is it? Is it a land tile? Yes. If it's a land tile, then spawn it based on its subtype, right? And if it's a water tile, same thing. Spawn it based on its subtype, and then like destroy it, basically, right? Here it says once you're done with all of that, remove all placeholder tiles from their list, and like tell them to destroy themselves, right? Which again is a problem because if it hasn't had this assigned, well, it's just gonna skip directly to this code here, well, to this code, and then this code, and it's just gonna get destroyed and disappear into oblivion, basically, right? So let me just see. There you go. All right. So we've saved this. Okay, so now let's finalize the grid. I think today's stream is going to be a bit shorter than yesterday's just because the grid is almost done. I'm not really going to do much with regards to it. Like I'm going to add basically the final mechanic, which is going to be spawning resources at random, right? and then hold on, and then what was I saying? Yeah, so I'm gonna create the mechanic that allows us to spawn. So when the grid is built, it's also going to create resources for whatever we need, right? And depending on like a specific algorithm and logic, right? Now, let me see. Now, once we're done with the what's it called? Once we're done with the resource thing, because I really don't think it's gonna take that long, right? Like, trust me, guys, it may sound more complicated, but like basically the toughest part of the job is done now. And so instead, what I might do, depending on how much time we have left, I might try to add a like what's it called? A height mechanic, like a topography mechanic or whatever, right? Like having certain tiles be higher than others, basically, right? That might be interesting to make. And that's definitely not a mechanic that's in Kingdoms and Castles. Like when if ever you play Kingdoms and Castles, you're gonna see, yeah, terrain elevation. Thank you, Red Herring. Basically, this game is entirely flat, and it's for a specific reason, right? Like, again, like if we go back to the platformer thing, once you start adding like elevation and like diagonal ramps and stuff like that, it becomes a fucking nightmare, right? So first, let's clean up this script because it's full of a bunch of green bullshit, right? So let me just, I'm gonna zoom out real quick just to, because it's gonna be easier for me to delete all of the stuff we don't need. Hold on, inside sheet one, this is blah blah blah, yeah. All right, yeah. I see. Oops, there you go. All right. This here is also deleted. Oh, no, this one we're keeping it. It's this one that we're removing. Yeah, then we're removing this. There we go. Then we are removing these. Then we're removing this. This one we can remove because we don't need it. This one as well. Right. Fuck your red herring. I'm not zooming in. Hold on. Alright. There you go. And then both of these, yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep this. Okay, there you go. Now I'm zoomed in. Are you happy? There you go. Okay. So now here's what I had in mind for when it comes to the resources, right? In order to make this as interesting as possible, right? And also like as simple and intuitive as possible. Hold on. Oh, I need to crack my back. Oh, fuck. There you go. Okay, so what I had in mind is that I'm going to modify the prefabs that we currently have in order for them to basically contain in order for all of them to have all of the resources we need, basically, right? So just to give you an example, okay? Let's see here, okay? Open image, okay. Here, if you look at kingdoms and castles, again, as a reference, basically these rocks here are certain resources that can be used in order to, what do you call it? Yeah, in order to harvest or whatever. And then you have the trees, right? But the way all of these work is that they're all like individual objects, right? Every single tree is an object. All of these rocks here are like objects and whatnot, right? In the way we're gonna do it is not gonna be that way, right? Like the trees are not going to be basically the, because I'm trying to think, right? It's okay. It's because we're gonna use parenting, so we're gonna have certain objects be parents of others, right? And then we're simply going to activate or deactivate them depending on what resources they have, right? That's what I'm thinking of doing, right? So the idea here is, let me see, let me think about it a little bit. Hold on. Let's think about it. So, yeah. So let's do land tile like that. And then water tile. Okay. Amazing. Perfect. Okay. Let's see, this one, -3, -3. No. Oops. -3. There you go. Okay. -3. 0. And then 3. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's save. Okay, perfect. Okay, and now what we're gonna do here, hold on. Oh my god. Okay, there you go. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm going to modify all of these, okay, in order to be, so hold on, so this is land tile parent object 0, or just land tile 0, land tile 0, there we go, 0. Yeah, okay, land tile 0 like that, and then, oh, hold on, so let me just do this one like that. This one's gonna be trigger rigid body like that, use gravity, no, blah blah blah, no position, no rotation, no nothing. There you go. So land tile 0, so visual, okay, so tile visual, and then there you go, visuals, and then we're gonna add, let's say, I don't know, let's make a very basic capsule, okay, and call it trees, basically, right? Trees, and then Cylinder, plane, quad, mirror. The fuck is a quad? Oh no. Hold on. Create object, a sphere, and we're gonna call it stone, right? So for now, we're only gonna have two resources. We're gonna have trees and stone, right? Like, let's keep it, again, simple. Keep it simple and stupid. So hold on. So this is going to get moved. Hold on. Copy component. How can I? Box collider. Use gravity. No. Box collider. Move up. Is trigger. How? What is this one? It's 1.5, 1.5. Okay, 1.5. 1.5. Okay, amazing. There you go. Then here we're just going to move this here like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, and now this thing here, we can remove this component. We can remove this one. No, okay, there you go. All right, so okay, these ones as well. We're gonna remove the colliders because we don't really need them. All right. Okay, so here's the idea, okay? For the trees, we're gonna make them dark green. Fuck's sake. Materials, we're gonna make the trees dark green, and the stone, we're gonna make it black. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter, right? Or I guess white. Whatever. So the trees, we're gonna lift it up like that. Let's say by 1. And then we're gonna make it 0.65. 0.65, there you go, like that. It looks weird, but I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? We're just the point is just to have visuals, right? And then trees, and then the stone, we're gonna lift it up 0.5. Yeah, and it's white, and okay, perfect. So now what we're gonna do, okay, we're saving. Okay, we have all this. Okay, this is the grid tile city builder script. So now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some new variables called resource variables, right? And then public game object, this tiles trees object, public game object, this tiles, what are they called? This tiles stone object, okay? And then here at the start, void start, should it? No, exactly. Okay, we're not gonna do anything for now. We're gonna go back to here to the builder. Okay, we have this, we have our tile. Oh, fuck's sake. There we go. Perfect. Like that. Okay, and then here trees object, stone object. Okay. And then what we're gonna do here in prefabs, simple, we're gonna do land tile, land tile, or land tile placeholder 0, land tile placeholder 1, land tile placeholder 2. All right. Okay. So now we have this one here, and now with all of these, I can basically kind of just copy paste off of this one, and just change, yeah, make the necessary changes here, right? So land subtype. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's create the other 5. What are they called? The other 5 prefabs. 5 like that, and then here it's going to be land tile 1, land tile 2, water tile 0, water tile water tile 1, 2, water tile placeholder 0, water tile placeholder 1, water tile placeholder 2. Okay. And then, so we have land tile, there you go. Okay, so now we're basically just going to change the visuals for all these. So land tile, land tile 3. Okay. Deep water, shallow water, and then, okay, there you go. Okay. Prefabs, then these 5, we just drag and drop them in here. Original prefabs, boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Boom, like that. Okay, now let's go into our grid builder and let's update all of these. So land, fuck's sake. Land 0, land 1, land 2, water 0, water 1, water 2, and then same thing here, land 0, land 1, land 2, water 0, water 1, fuck's sake, water, oh, fuck. Okay, there you go. And now let's just make sure that they're all set up properly. 50 minus 1, yeah, 51, okay, this, so 100, there you go. Here it's 2, and it's 150. Okay, now here 50, 1 minus 1, 0. Okay. 100, 1 minus 1, 1. Okay, there you go. And here 1, oops, minus 1, 2, 150. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna press play, and what we're gonna see is all of the tiles are gonna look the exact same, except they're gonna have the stone and the trees poking out, basically. See? It's like a sea of cacti. Oh my god, this looks terrible. Jesus. Right? There you go. Like that. Right? Like that. You know? Just looks terrible, basically. Okay? So now what we're gonna do is very simple. Okay, first we're gonna select all of these, or actually, oh, fuck, I'm gonna have to, okay, boom, 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 all of these like that. And now I'm gonna select all the stones and the trees, okay, and I'm going to deactivate them. There you go. Okay, overrides like that. Override, apply all. Perfect. Now let's delete. I said delete. I said delete. There you go. Perfect. So now if I press play, the tiles should basically look like normal, right? Let's see. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the script, right? I'm going to add to the script, to the grid builder script. And hold on, let me just, there you go. I'm going to add to this script. I think in the tile influence part, right? Or is it? No. Yeah, okay, I have an idea, basically. Here I'm gonna keep it simple and stupid. Like I'm gonna keep it really fucking simple, okay? Public int number of trees equals -1. Public int number of stone -1, okay? And now here, this script here, it sets up the number of tiles total, right? And what I'm gonna do here as well is set up number of resources, okay? So here, what I'm gonna do is if number of trees is less than 0, what we're gonna do is number of trees, and since we have the total number of tiles, we're basically going to simply say equals random.range between 0 and number of tiles to spawn +1. And I do +1 because this is an integer, right? Like you can't have like 1.5 trees, right? Like you either have 1 tree or 2 or 0, but you can't have like 0.5 or 1.33 or whatever, right? So it's an integer. And because it's an integer, when we do random, it's exclusive here. So by putting +1, this guarantees that the max we're gonna have is the number, the actual number, like basically 1 tree per tile, if somehow every single tile that we have is a land tile, basically, right? And then same thing with the stones, equals random.range number of tiles to spawn +1. Oh, fuck's sake, I'm stupid. If number of stone is also below 0, then we do number of stone equals random.range 0 to number of tiles to spawn +1. Okay, there you go. And then what we're going to do is transform initial tiles. So after a tile has been spawned, right? Let's go into our grid tile thing here, right? It's hold on, resource variables. We're gonna do public bool has trees equals false, and then here public boolean has stone equals false, has trees boolean, has stone boolean. Okay, there you go. Now we'll go back to our grid builder. And what we're going to do is here, basically, when we take some of the initial placeholder tiles and, oh, hold on a minute. Hold on. I just had an idea. Number of tile types list. Number of tile types list. Okay, never mind. Okay, hold on. So here, instead of using this for the maximum, what I'm gonna do is as follows. Hold on, integer number of initial land tiles equals -1 or 0. Then number of initial land tiles plus equals number of tile types list dot 0. Okay. 1, 2. There you go. And now here we're just gonna do. There you go. Okay. So now the reason why I changed it from this to this, I was actually gonna do that anyway, but first I wanted to see how crazy it could get, but at this point I'm like, fuck it. We might as well just get this out of the way immediately, right? So the idea is, I know for a fact that the first 3 values inside this list represent the total number of land tiles that will initially be spawned, right? And so the idea is basically for each of the initial tiles, land tiles that we're gonna spawn, we might give them a tree or some stone, basically, right? And now this right now, the risk that we have is that if both of these receive the maximum value, welcome back, Red Herring. So basically, if both of these receive the maximum value, right, then all of those tiles are going to have they're gonna have both the stone and the trees active at the same time, right? So basically what I'm gonna do here is, here right now we have like some sort of placeholder number of trees and stone to spawn, right? Now, since Red Herring, you were AFK for a bit, I'm gonna explain to you what I did, right? While you were gone, I basically recreated 6 new prefabs, right? So I have the original ones, which are the placeholder ones, right? Here, if you look down here or up here, top right, at the name, I put placeholder at the end, just to be able to differentiate them, right? For now, but eventually I'm going to remove them, right? And then I have the real normal tiles, right? And all of those tiles, what they have is, let me show you, they have now basically the tile object is an empty game object with a box collider and a rigid body in order for later on for the raycast to use once we're going to be placing buildings and stuff. And then I just moved the grid tile city builder script on them, and I added a reference for their trees and stone game objects that are inactive, but the idea is that we're going to set up an algorithm that's going to activate these resources only for some of the land tiles that we have, right? So basically, yeah, as I was saying, here we calculated the total number of land tiles, of initial land tiles we're gonna have. We set up the number of trees and stone we're gonna have if they haven't been manually set up before, right? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way down, right? All the way down in the populate grid loop, right? Right here. And now, once, hold on, we're gonna say, let's see, once all of this is done, move on to the next function, which is going to be public void generate resources. Okay, and now here what we're gonna do is, hold on, generate resources, right? Populate grid. Okay. Go through every single land tile and activate their resources when applicable. Okay, so now we're going to do another for loop, for in loop index 0 equals 0, and then list, so grid list, grid tiles objects list dot count plus plus, like that. Hold on. Grid tiles objects list is added. Okay, perfect. And now we're gonna say grid current grid tile script equals grid list, grid tiles objects list, loop index dot get component, get component, grid tile CB. There we go. And now here, what we're gonna do is first check to see if it's a land tile. So if grid tile dot type tile type equals 0, then activate one of its resources if it hasn't been activated already. Okay, so now we're gonna do if number of trees is greater than 0. Oh, hold on. And grid tile dot has trees equals false. Then grid tile dot has trees equals true. But before that, we're gonna say current grid tile dot tree object dot set active true. There you go. And now we're gonna do here number of stone. Hold on. Else if, we're gonna do an else if. That way, basically, first it checks does it have any more number of trees to spawn, right? Hold on. Let me just number of trees to spawn, number of stone to spawn, public int number of trees spawned. Okay, public int number of stone spawned equals 0. It's a field of pause. Yeah, I guess you rewound and looked at the other stuff. Hold on. Where were we? Tile influence, adjust, generate resources. Okay, yeah. So basically, if number of trees to spawn is greater than 0, blah, blah, blah. So here has trees bool, and then number of trees spawned plus equals 1, and number of trees to spawn minus equals 1. There you go. So now here we're basically gonna do the exact same thing. Else if number of stone to spawn is greater than 0 and has stone is false, then has stone is true. Stone object like that. Number of stone spawned, stone to spawn. Okay, there you go. So now with all of this, I think we should be good to go, basically. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Number of trees to spawn minus 1 minus 1. Okay. Let's see. So now I should have 21 trees and stone. Oh, all right. So see, here I have 1 stone, here I have 1 tree. Here another tree, another stone, another tree, another stone, another tree. Interesting. Okay, some more stone. Although I don't think I have. Let me see here. Okay, so right, because it's yeah. So it spawned 5 of each, which makes sense because I made it a random thing. Hello Zeno, hope you're doing well. Okay, yeah. So let's respawn another terrain and see how it's gonna look. Ooh, okay. So now we have how many? Now we have 14 trees and 8 stone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Okay, so we have 14. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. And like 8. Some 8, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, so it works. It's good. Perfect. Well, if it isn't my Jesus. All right, yeah, so now we have the resources working. Well, when I say working, I mean we're able to spawn resources, but obviously we haven't added any of the code that would ideally allow us to what do you call it? To harvest those resources or use them, right? And unfortunately, I'm not gonna do this this stream just because it's gonna be too time consuming, and I'm not gonna be doing another like 4-hour stream or whatever. So hold on. So we have this. So now let's try to do a what are we gonna call it? A oh my god, what's it called? Holy shit. An elevation, a terrain elevation mechanic, basically, right? Also, let me just be right back because it's getting a little warm. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now let's try to do some basic terrain elevation thing, which is going to be... Okay, first I'm gonna do it really simple, okay? grid tile. Okay, so elevation variables, public int this tiles, so, or rather just elevation level equals -1. Okay, and then public int elevation strength equals -1, right? And then here we're gonna do public void setup tiles elevation. Okay, and literally all we're gonna do is transform dot position dot y equals elevation level times elevation strength. Okay, the transform can't modify the value. Oh my god. Okay, let me show you how we're gonna do this. Vector 3 new tile elevation vector 3 equals new vector 3 hold on. Okay, there you go. Like that. Okay, and then transform dot position equals new v3. There you go. Oh hey, Pierce Taylor, holy shit, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing good. Oh fuck, hold on. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, so now that we've set up this like super basic brain dead function, we're gonna go back here and in this same generate resources script, I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna do it like that. So current grid tile dot setup. There you go. That's it. That's all we're gonna do. Actually, hold on. Setup this. Setup current tiles elevation. Okay, if current grid tile dot elevation level is lower than 0, we're gonna say current grid tile. Okay, see you later, Zeno. Thanks for coming. So current grid tile script dot elevation level equals random dot range between 0 and let's say 3, between 0 and 3, right? If grid tile script dot elevation strength, no, and elevation strength we don't touch it actually. Okay, like that. Let's go back to here and say elevation strength is gonna be 1 for now, because our tiles are they have a height of 1, right? So we're gonna keep it simple like that. Okay, oops, not this, this. Okay, so now let's see how it's gonna look. I in the last games, but I was just lurking. Yeah, I didn't say much in Game Sense's stream just because it's like I was busy finishing the what's it called, the grid. But yeah, I'm glad to see all of you guys. I'm still amazed at how consistently you're all like you've all been watching my stuff basically. And also, let me just link it again. Join the Discord server if you want to have access to these projects, but also if you want to get some behind the scenes for the game I'm making. Because that's where, like, in the Discord server, I'm posting, like, once in a while, right? I'm posting videos of little behind the scenes footage of like work in progress stuff, visuals for the game, stuff like that. So if you find that interesting, could be fun. And also, eventually, once I start streaming about my game, I'm going to be doing live streams where people can interact and like give suggestions for content in the game or mechanics or stuff like that. And also, um, what else? Um, yeah, stuff like that. And also, if people have suggestions or questions in between streams, well, they can always write in the Discord server and like I'm gonna respond. Jesus Christ, it's been compiling or executing, I guess you could say, for 2 minutes. And that's because of the elevation thing. That seems to have like completely broken this fucking script. But let's see how long it takes for it to happen. Otherwise, how y'all doing? Hope you're all doing good. Oh la la. Hope y'all had a good weekend. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes. If by the fifth minute mark it still hasn't fully loaded, then I'm gonna go back um, and probably make some changes. Just cause. Hold on. Random range. Random dot range. I think something that's I think what's causing the problem is probably the elevation multiplied by the elevation level multiplied by elevation strength thing. Basically this here. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably causing some problems. Yeah. Alright, 1 more minute. If it hasn't loaded in a minute, then Game Sense wanted to feature someone who doesn't hate coding in his show. San Francisco cityscape elevations would be hard. Well, it all depends on how you decide to create uh your script basically. Fuck you, AGT. Yeah, if that's what you're doing. Well, I'm just messing around for now. Um, I'm not sure. Like, ideally, I would like to do elevation, but I'm not sure how I would do it. Probably if I were to make like a serious, real, proper city builder game, me personally, I probably would not use a grid system. I would probably manually make the maps and like periodically just release new maps for players. I wouldn't really do it procedurally generated. Okay, yeah, it's been 5 minutes. What the fuck is this, bro? Alright. Task manager. Unity editor. Alright. Good night, sweet prince. There you go. Alright. What? What the fuck? It's not letting me. What? Okay, hold on. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to restart Unity. The Unity hub, I mean. I wouldn't want someone tracing my steps and pointing out all the mistakes I made. Jesus. User menu. Jesus, yeah, like, bro, even the Unity hub bugged out. What the fuck? Oh, fuck. Ah, there we go. Oh, hold on. Okay, close. Okay, there we go. Okay, so instead of doing this, let's make it simpler. Let's make, okay, core variables, public, transform, this transform, this transform equals this dot game object dot transform. There we go. And now all we're gonna do is here float is going to be new elevation f equals 0.0 f, new elevation equals L level times L is strength. There you go. And now here position dot x. No, hold on. And now we're gonna do this transform dot position dot dot y. There you go. The world space position of the transform cannot modify the value of transform dot position. Oh, fuck you. Okay, this. Okay, so that position equals new vector 3. New vector 3 equals transform dot position dot x. New elevation transform dot position dot z. Okay. Let's see this. Okay. Yeah, what's up? What stage are you at? I'm basically done with the hello Clark Kent, by the way. I'm basically done with the grid builder. And oh holy shit, wait. Okay. You guys are up to date with the stream. Yeah. So basically I'm done with the grid builder. Yes, it's Z, not Z. It's Z. And now I'm just like, I just added a mechanic here that generates resources. And now I'm doing this mechanic here that is going to do the elevation, basically. There you go. So let's go here. Let's wait for it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Okay, see? Okay, the variable transform dot grid has not been assigned. Okay, hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? What? Hold on. I guess I'm gonna have to do it manually. Ugh. Land tile. Water tile. Let's see. Transform. All right. Now all these, apply, then delete. Okay, now let's see. Let's see if it works. I missed the whole last stream. Did Ryan make his generator overcomplicated? No, but we ran into a bunch of issues. Holy shit. Jesus. Okay, well there's your there's your fucking terrain elevation. Yeah, so this is what happens when you make the terrain generation oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. And then where are the trees? Are there any trees? It says it spawned 19 trees. Okay. Bro, what are the odds of like... Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of the 13 stone being spawned next to each other. Holy shit. But yeah, so basically this right here is what happens when I purposefully made the elevation happen randomly, right? Now, instead of doing it this way, right, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set up a similar mechanic to the what's it called? To the influence, but now instead of the tiles just adding influence to one another based on like whether it's gonna be a land tile or a what's it called? Instead of it being a land tile or a holy shit, what is it called? Instead of being a land tile or a water tile, it's also going to add influence based on whether or not it's a what do you call it? Whether or not it's a like basically how elevated it is, right? Also, just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so let's figure out how we're gonna do the influence, right? So here, here it's going to okay, let's do something interesting. Last stream was wild. And you reached the enlightenment status through... Oh my god. Okay, I'm not reading that. Jesus. Okay. Okay, so... Jesus. Okay, so here we transform initially a certain set of tiles based on their elevation, right? So now what I'm thinking is yeah, okay, because here we have the transform tiles and then here we add their influence. So all right, but these tiles here, transform initial tiles, these tiles here are already... Okay, hold on. So set up newly spawned tiles, oops, elevation variables. Okay, so now current grid tile equals newly spawned tile object dot get component grid tile. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is, why are people trying to get the stream taken down? because this is the audience I court. I only have myself to blame. All right, so hold on. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. That is not what it's called. Ah, that's what it's called. All right. All right. In this case, the audience might really reflect the stream exactly. And it's pretending not to be. Yep. To please the loan providers. Yep. All right. Okay. So, okay. So here we're gonna set up the elevation variables, which, let's see. Let me just see. So how are we doing? So the calculation for the tile influence here is a distance divider divided by distance between tiles. Okay, yeah. So base influence. Okay. So hold on. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna copy the code I put here. Okay. Okay, let's do this like that. Okay, let's just copy this here. Okay, and then hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this, okay, this is good for now. And then here in the tile influence, what we're gonna do is finally also apply this so current grid tiles elevation influence. Okay. Soft R game development. Jesus. When image to text recognition issues headed, Randy will get smashed. Yeah. Damn it, I hate typing touch. Yeah, well, get fucked. Hold on. Finally, also apply current grid. You guys are fucking distracting me. God damn it. Oh, it's giving me an error. Doesn't want that. Okay, just kidding. I don't give a fuck about them or anybody else. Okay, so finally, also apply current grid tiles elevation influence. Okay, hold on. So how am I going to apply? Because basically here, this is very practical in the sense that it allows us to properly where's paint? So we have like a tile here, and then and then the further out we go, the less influence it has, right? The tile has on other tiles, right? I want to do the same thing with the elevation, right? So, or I guess I can just leave it like that. Okay, this is C++. No, it's C#. Yeah. And peers, again, like if you're interested in like in these projects and stuff, join the Discord server. There you go. Okay, all right. So finally, also apply current grid tiles elevation influence. Okay, so how are we going to calculate the elevation? Here we have the current elevation level. So what I'm gonna do is -3 3, oops, to 4, right? Because this is an integer, exactly, right? Hold on. Where were we? Wait, where were we? Okay. Finally, also apply the current grid. Okay, so the idea is going to be, yeah, so the idea is going to be integer current grid tiles elevation elevation influence equals math f dot ceiling to int. Okay, and we're gonna do current grid tile dot elevation level times distance divider divided by distance between tiles. Okay, and then placeholder, current placeholder, so, oh, hold on, the placeholder one does not have, so public integer, this placeholder tiles elevation, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it like that, dot, okay, equals current elevation influence, right, whatever, okay. And now here, basically what we're gonna do is okay, for now we're gonna leave it this way. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that for now. And then here, when it gets spawned, the newly spawned tile object, immediately what we're gonna do is current grid tile equals newly spawned tile dot get component grid tile city builder, and then we're gonna say current grid tile city builder dot elevation level equals placeholder dot, there you go, and we're gonna do the same thing here. And now I think it's still gonna be chaotic, but it's going to be less so. And now this part here, we're just going to remove it, right, like that. Okay, and now we're gonna wait for it to compile. Okay, it's compiling, amazing. All right. Again, it's probably still gonna be a little fucked, but hopefully less. Hopefully less weird. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, so basically the initial ones worked, obviously. Okay, but then, oh, okay, so see here it worked. Here it actually worked, somewhat. Interesting. But then the rest, it didn't really work. Okay, interesting. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking, okay? So first things first, what I'm gonna do is, honestly, this level of programming is way beyond my capability, but I've saved the Discord URL. I'll drop to say hello. Yeah, well, honestly, the Discord, first of all, like, don't feel pressure to do anything, right? But the Discord, for me mainly, it's for to gather like-minded people, just to have fun, and like eventually, like right now I'm really busy, so I don't really have that much time to do anything. But eventually I'm hoping to start like doing more stuff with you guys, right? Like maybe we can once in a while like play games together or whatever, right? During the Steam Next Fest a couple weeks ago, we all played like a demo together. We were like 4 or 5 of us. It was really fun. So yeah, so it's really just like you can join in, like chill out, you know. Again, it's like it's obviously it's useful for those who are interested in game development, but that's not all the server is about, you know. Um, you also have people making simpler games. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We thought, yeah. So that's why I said like it's not just about, let's say, game dev or whatever, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here, right, is let me see. What I'm gonna do here is so what I was thinking is, in order to kind of mimic real life, how like the deeper at sea you go, the like the deeper the water gets, and the further inland you get, the more like there are mountains and hills and stuff like that, right? What I'm gonna do here is um, make sure elevation is uh, positive. So if current placeholder tile dot elevation is lower than 0, then placeholder tile dot elevation equals dot elevation times -1. There you go. And then here it's the opposite. Here we're gonna do make sure the elevation is negative. So if it's above 0, then yeah, same thing. Boom. Okay, there you go. So now once again we made like a tiny little change. So let's see what it's gonna look like now. So right now all of the tiles that are above ground should be land tiles, and all the tiles below ground should be what are they called? Yeah, so they should be interesting. Okay, so see here we have a land tile that went underneath, which is not how it's supposed to go. This is how it's supposed to go, so this makes sense. Okay, so these ones here. Oh, hold on. Let me just see. Oh, hold on. I think I know why. Okay, hold on. That, hold on. So if like that, if current placeholder tile dot tile type equals 0, water. Okay, so now let's just do this like that, boom boom boom. Okay, let's spam him, everybody, and make a Discord notification song. Oh, by the way, I don't have my headphones on, so I didn't hear anything. Yeah, yeah. AGT is the project manager. Okay, hold on. Okay, so now it's compiling. That's good. Okay, so now here we made sure that this is working. Okay. All right. So now. Okay, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Huh. All right, so clearly it's not working as intended. If tile type is minus this, minus that. Hold on. Let me just do it like that. Okay. Hold on. Like that. Oh no. Okay. Okay, interesting. Huh. Okay, so clearly it's not working exactly as intended, so let's investigate, right? So here, the moment this is done, okay, so let's first remove this, right? Okay. All right. And let's see what it's gonna look like now. Because an elevation mechanic could be really interesting, right? Okay, hold on. Okay. Interesting. So some of these are still above water. Okay, so now already it looks a bit better, basically. Okay. So now we have that. Here we set up, oh wait. No, yeah. Okay, so this is good here, yeah. Then we move on to the tile influence. So here, tile influence, we affect whether it's a land tile or a water tile. And then finally also apply current grid tiles elevation influence. All right, hold on. So finally also apply, yeah, hello Silver Sterling. Finally also apply grid tiles elevation influence, right? So this here clearly isn't working as intended, and it makes sense because we're using completely different metrics, right? So basically, yeah, divided by this divider times 100. Oops. No, let's see it like that. Let's just make this one change here. Okay. Holy shit. Mamma mia. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Oh my god. Yo. All right. Okay. Okay. But here's the thing, right? This here is working properly, right? It's where when we get to this part here that it's getting like absolutely crazy, right? Holy shit. Okay, hold on. Okay, so now let me just see, okay, how, hold on. Save, let me just do this, okay? We're gonna disable adjust tile type influence. So now all I'm gonna look is how much influence do my tiles give to one another. Even has two tiles. You could just use a noise texture for elevation or ensemble. Yo, fuck that. We're not using any of that fancy schmancy shit. hold on. Like that. Okay. So this here, elevation level is 3. Okay. So let's see the tile next to it. It has an elevation level of 5. Okay. Okay, so hold on. So what if I just did this like that? Okay. What if I did this like that? Okay. Okay. The Saddam memes never stop being funny. Some love hiding there. Everything you do, I would do the opposite way. Yep, that's exactly it. Okay, so, oh fuck, hold on. So let's see what this one's is. This one's elevation level is -2. This one is -4. This one is -4 as well. -4, -4. Right, because they're all getting like adjusted. They haven't been adjusted yet. Yeah, elevation level 0. Yeah, okay, so 0 times whatever. Okay, right. Hold on. Plus equals. Okay, let's do that like that. Okay, let's see, come on. Okay, let's see now whether or not the elevation works. Okay, oh Jesus. Okay, oh fuck, hold on. So this thing here has an elevation of 2. This thing here has an elevation of 106. Oh boy. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, because we're all adding them, right? Okay, hold on. If I do it like that. Oh. Hold on, I have an idea. Placeholder tile. It's public int number of influences equals 0. Okay. And then here we're gonna do at the very end of this, we're gonna do, okay, hold on, adjust, let me try something. So adjust elevation level, yeah, level. So we're gonna do placeholder tile dot elevation equals placeholder tile dot elevation times divided by placeholder tile dot number of influences. Okay, and here we're just gonna do placeholder tile dot number of influences plus equals 1. Okay, so let's see. Save. Did I keep? Yeah, plus equals 1. Ah shit, hold on. Okay. Okay, it's starting to look... Okay, we're almost there. Like, it's still a little too extreme, but it's already looking a little better, right? Let's see. Right. Okay. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is if current whoops, if grid elevation is above 0, then do this. Or no, hold on, no, that's fine. This here is fine. What we're going to do here is math f dot or round to int, let's say. Let's see it like that, right? Okay, let's see. File, blah, 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 save project, save as. Okay, hold on. Divide by 0, and tempted to divide by 0. Current placeholder dot number of influences is greater than 0, or rather is not equal to 0. Like that. Here. Hold on. Placeholder tile dot number of influences plus equals 1. Sorry, I had removed this by accident. Okay. So in this hypothetical city builder, would the player be able to change the elevation of such tiles that were generated, and would that potentially become wonky down the line with this coding? Well, basically right now what I'm creating is something that would happen on its own automatically whenever the player like generates a map, like in this context, right? And so maybe like if we were to add a creative mode, the player would be able to mess around with some of those settings, like, oh, what's the max height, what's the minimum height, stuff like that, but they wouldn't be able to manually change any one specific tile's height, basically. So let's see now. Okay, no, it's still a little weird right here. Okay, so it's still a little weird. Okay, and let's look at this, for instance. Let's take this. What is its elevation? -2. What is that thing's elevation? 2. Right. Okay, so I need a way, because like all of the water tiles are almost working well with one another. All of the, what are they called? All of the land tiles are working more or less well with one another, right? So let me just see here. If I were to remove this, what would it look like? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, so now it's even more stable actually. Okay, perfect. Although the problem, yeah, the problem here is that you get like water that's going up and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's not ideal. Hold on, let's remake again to see. The height should be done before anything else in terrain generation. The height be the first weight against the terrain. Well, the thing is, the way I'm generating the terrain right now, it's like that the height doesn't affect anything else, really, right? Hold on. Okay, so here, if you look closely, you can see that the central tile is actually lower, right? So if I were to click on like this here, okay, elevation 2, and then the one right next to it, elevation 7. Okay, hold on. So let's go back up to here. Let's disable this. Now let's see the elevation levels it gives. Okay. So this thing here has an elevation level of 2, and then this thing here has an elevation level of 375. Okay, yeah, but that's before. Okay, hold on. But that's before it has. Okay, so then here we're gonna do break. Okay, there you go. So all of this now is disabled. Perfect. Okay. So now let's do this. Okay, let's do this, and let's do it like that. Okay. Okay, let's see what it gives us now. Okay, so here we have elevation 0, so this one is probably elevation -11. Okay, I see. I see. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking of doing. Okay. Adjust, yeah. Okay. And then, hold on. Okay. Here we're gonna do public int min elevation level equals -1. Oh, hold on. Public int max elevation level -1. Okay, and then here, hold on, where is it? Range between min elevation level and max elevation level. There you go. Perfect. Okay, and so if current placeholder dot elevation is greater than max elevation level, is greater or equal to max, then current placeholder tile dot elevation level equals max elevation -1. Else if, placeholder tile elevation is lower or equal to minimum. Okay, then placeholder tile dot elevation equals minimum elevation. Okay, like that. Okay, and then yeah, for now these are disabled here. So let's see. Yeah, okay, let's see how things are gonna play out now that we've added this. Okay. Randy's not using debugging features again. Fuck debugging teachers, bro. Features. Jesus. Okay, hold on. It's not giving us any errors. So let's see here. We have elevation -1. And then here we're gonna have elevation -1. This thing here, it's going to have elevation -1. This one here, elevation -1. Let's grab a random one here. Okay. Okay, so now I think, yeah, I need to activate this. Yeah, these are all activated. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay, interesting. Oh, wait. I just realized I'm stupid. It's because I haven't properly set it up yet, right? Hold on. So let's go back here. The max elevation I want is 4. The minimum -3. So let's see. That's why everything was like -1. Hold on. Let's see now with proper elevation. Oh. Okay. Not bad. Okay, see, we have still a few little discrepancies here and there. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Layout. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, we still have a few more discrepancies like that here. What are these ones? Elevation level -3. This one's is -2. Okay, so now let me just add this code here and this one here. Let's see now if the elevation. Randy refuses to either listen to the PM or use something like the Perlin noise function. Fuck that. Bro, when I was doing VFX graphs, I had so many problems with like Perlin noise and stuff that now the moment I hear that, I'm like, no, get away from me. He comments like a champ, but debugs like a champ. Okay, hold on. Oof. I mean, we're almost there. Hold on. La. We're almost there. Okay, hold on. So this is elevation 3. But then this is elevation -1. Right. Okay. So now let's add this code here. Okay, see if that's gonna help. The rest of the world finds the N word abhorrent. Randy finds the D word abhorrent. Well, we each have our trigger words. We're almost there, said Moses. Yep. Okay. Hold on. Okay. 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 I mean, like really almost there, right? Apart from a few like floating ones and shit. Damn. Yeah. There you go. All right. Interesting. Okay, now let me see. Let me try something out here. Okay. Elevation level and elevation float. What? Oh, fuck. Float. There you go. Elevation float. Okay, so. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Elevation level. F. LF. Okay. Okay. What's the error? Elevation float. This placeholders elevation. Hold on. Oh, oops. Public float. Okay. Here. Okay. Any other errors? No. Okay. Let's try it this way. Okay. Let's see what happens now. We are going to be stuck waiting for Moses to part the sea because Randy won't debug his prayer. All right. Okay, well, that's lame. All right. That's boring. Let's see. This elevation level. Oh, fuck's sake. Hold on. I know why. Equals elevation F times elevation strength. There you go. Okay. Okay, so let's see now. Hopefully now it should be working as intended. Let's see. Nope, still nothing. Okay. All right. So basically all I was trying to do is see if I could make them um, if I could make the elevation less like Minecraft and more like random, basically. But I mean, clearly it's gonna take me some more time to get it working, so fuck that shit. So let's just go back. Elevation level. Let's make it all working like that. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Then this here. There you go. I'm just doing Control Z everywhere. There you go. Okay. So that should be good. Hopefully I didn't miss anything else. Okay, Randy is a quitter. You ever played blackjack? Nope. I've never played blackjack. Okay, perfect. Okay, so it still works as more or less intended. All right. Okay. So, okay, hold on. Let's look at this here. Grid builder like that. Okay. So how come these ones are like so far beneath? Okay. Elevation -3. How come? What's causing this drop in elevation? Holy shit. Okay, so this here is -1. These here are -3. Okay, and then these here. Right, -3, -2, but because they are land. Right. But because they are land. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So instead let's hold on. Let's disable these again, right? I wonder if he'll understand the vid in Discord then. Might be too highbrow for him. That's random every time when he lets his precious AI fix his code. Hold on. I'm gonna check this at the end of the stream. Unless there's like slurs in it, then obviously I can't. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so now it's actually working. Yep, now it's actually working. The only issue, obviously, is that the water isn't necessarily going down or whatever, right? But honestly, at this point, I'm going to leave it that way. We're going to say it's a feature, not a bug, right? Yeah, we're going to keep it chill like that, right? Okay, and now what I'm going to do, just to make it even better, prefabs, land 0 prefab, these here. Okay. Tile visual. I'm gonna do 5. Okay, let's put the mouse here. Hold on. Let's do it like that. Okay, like that. Perfect. Okay. Then all of these, we're gonna do apply all. And then right here in the hierarchy, we're gonna delete them. Do this like that. Okay, now let's see. 32 times the detail. King of the chess club strikes again. Okay. All right, there you go. Yep, so the grid more or less works. Now let's rebuild it, okay? Let's rebuild it and have max elevation be 10 or 11. Minimum elevation be minus 10. Okay, let's do 150 by 150, right? Just have an even larger grid. It has yet to be hardened by AAA backlash. We aren't being mean, we are tempering his ego. 3D dot game heroes be like, yeah. All right, let's see. Hold on. Oh, it's lagging. Oh boy. Oh fuck. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. There you go. Zoom in, bitch. It's honestly, it's only lagging because I'm streaming. When I'm not streaming, like I can do double the size of this and like have 0 lag. It's because of you guys. It's all your fault. Hold on, can I move it a little bit? But yeah, okay, yeah. So I mean, it looks legit. It looks good, you know. So, oh, hold on. Now let's do 100 by 100 again, just because that was simpler. Your computer is having performance anxiety. Understandable. Yep. Okay. Okay. Not bad, not bad, not bad. All right. Like that. And now let's do completely random tiles. Let's do completely random tiles and see what it gives us. Hold on, let's see. Oh shit. Okay, interesting. Jesus. Holy shit. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So let's just see. Hold on. So instead of doing this, here I have it like that, right? Land, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So first, hold on. Okay, so here, if okay, yeah. So if placeholder tile dot elevation is greater than 0, then it's simple. Make it like that, and folder tile dot subtype list equals random dot range. There you go. Then else if. So let me see something. Is 0. Make this tile into a water tile. Subtype 0. Else make this into a random tile. Placeholder tile dot type tile type ID equals random dot range 0 2, and then placeholder tile dot subtype is going to be equal to, let's say 0, whatever, right? And now here, let's just erase, not erase this, but deactivate this, just for fun. Okay. Now let's look. Let's look at this. What it's gonna give me. Okay. Save. Red builder. What's the error it's giving me? Ah, for fuck's sake. Like that. There you go. I was like, why is it not compiling? Forest is underwater, yeah. When he falls, it's our fault. 8 gigabyte. That's Louisiana after a hurricane. IGN gives this 7.8 out of 10. Too much water. It's capable of producing geysers and whatnot. It's 0.001 Minecraft World Gen. Yeah, well, you know. I'm just a guy. Hold on. In order to truly temper Randy for the gaming community, we need to become about 1,000 times more irrational. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Oh wow, this looks awful. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. All right, interesting. So let's. Okay. So now the part that I turned off, um, let's combine it with this logic here, right? So let me just do this like that, and then this like that, then this like that. Okay. If this elevation is above 0, then okay. So let's just with these two lines changed, let's see what it's gonna give us now. Let's see. Like that. Okay. Randy, I have played this game for 700 hours, but I'm leaving a bad review for issues that were present at release. Yep. Okay, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Hold on, let's look at the whole thing. Okay. Hold on. Oh yeah, because I didn't disable this. Hold on. Oops. All right. Come on. Come on, bitch. Okay. Like that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's about the best it's been so far, right? Almost. What do you guys think? There you go. Randy, surely world gen isn't this hard to code. We should have about 20 times the number of biomes for the amount I paid for this. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I've been streaming for about 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours now. I think I'm gonna call it a day for today, for today's stream. Probably before next Saturday stream, I'm gonna mess around with this a bit just to like fix it up and make it even better, if possible, right? And then the plan for next week is gonna be to get like some basic building spawns, right? Which I mean, if you follow the tower defense code, the tower defense prototype streams, I mean, then you pretty much already have an idea of how to do that, right? And once we're done with the building placement, then I'm gonna add. I'm probably going to start. Because again, before doing the resource thing, because we've kind of already done that. Before doing that, I'm gonna add stuff. How can I say? We're gonna start messing around with UI and 3D models, right? Yeah, he's taking the early access money and running. But yeah, so here's the plan, right? Let me just delete this like that. So number one is going to be add building placement slash spawn mechanic, right? And then two is going to be do basic UI, right? And then three is going to be introduction to 3D modeling in Blender, right? So the goal here is this is what I'm hoping we're gonna be doing next weekend. First, we're gonna add buildings, but they're gonna be cubes. Then we're going to do some basic UI in order to select which buildings we want to spawn, right? Because in the tower defense, we were using the mouse wheel to like alternate between the different towers. Now we're gonna use UI to like click on a button and like, so hold on. So you know, like you have like your button here, right? Like this is a house, this is a castle, this is a farm, whatever the fuck, right? You press the button and then you can like place the structure, right? And then the last part that we're gonna do here is going to be introduction to Blender. Like we're gonna be making some really basic stuff in Blender, and I'm gonna show you guys how to, once you've created a 3D model in Blender, how to export it into Unity, and then how to properly use it, set it up in Unity and everything, right? And so let me just give me a second here. I had there was something, I had like a picture. There it is. Oh, hold on, fuck. Okay, so this here is a city in Minecraft, okay? So you know how some people make videos like in Minecraft of like they build a city or a castle or whatever, and then they like put the video out. This is literally from a video that came out a couple years ago. I remember looking at it and being like, holy shit, like when it's zoomed out like that, it looks like a city builder game, right? So this is kind of what I had in mind with regards to like the prototype we're making right now, right? Like if I press play, let's see. There you go, right? Like that. This is kind of what I have in mind, right? In terms of like what I'm gonna do. So imagine this landscape here, but with like buildings on top of it and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for. So we're gonna be making like some really basic shapes, really basic buildings that close up are not gonna look that good, but when you're like this zoomed out, they're gonna look really good, basically. I just installed Unity on my desktop PC. It wouldn't install last week for some reason. Linux can be finicky. Yeah. But hey, I'm happy you've installed Unity. And again, like, if you join the goddamn server, Pierce, right? You're gonna have access to a bunch of tools. If ever you have questions like on the fly, you can just ask us. and we can help you and stuff, right? Again, it's like it can seem very overwhelming, but if you follow my tutorials, especially like the very first ones, because the first ones are where I go really in depth into like showing you how to code, like the real basics and stuff, then at that point you just have to, it's like going to the gym, you just have to do it often enough, and before you know it, it's like second nature, right? Like you don't really think about like, oh, what's an integer, what's a boolean, what's a float, how do I do a for loop, how can I use a for loop, right? And like all of the things that I'm doing right now, right? Like all of these tutorials, I'm doing them on the fly basically. So that's why sometimes I like pause and like for several minutes I'm thinking about what to do, right? It's because I'm doing them on the fly, but that's also why I'm able to just adapt and fix bugs and do everything on the fly. And that, like initially, I wasn't that good, right? Like initially, it took me like a week to debug some of the stuff that I'm debugging right now in like half an hour or an hour or whatever, right? So the point that I'm making is like, there's no pressure, there's no rush. Don't force yourself to do anything, but so long as it's fun and you're learning, you know. I tried to log in, but Discord said check email, but they didn't send me one. Check your maybe your garbage. That might be where it went. We're also using Visual Studio 2022 Peers. It's yeah, it's the script editor. Yeah. But again, like when it comes time to setting up Unity and doing all of that stuff, watch my first couple of streams, because I basically go through the whole thing and I show you how to set everything up. Because even when you download Visual Studio, you're gonna have to do like a few things to set it up properly in Unity and in Visual Studio. Like you're gonna have to basically link both of them. And because I do it so rarely, I always forget exactly how to do it, right? Damn. Well, maybe make a new Discord account. I don't know. Right? Hold on, let's just see. Hey, I'm honestly really happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now let's just do one last tiny little modification. Let's do it minus 3. Right, let's do it minus 3. There we go. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Now there's barely any water left. Huh. Alright. Okay. But that's gonna be something to fuck around with for later. Okay, like that. Within this one, I've got the invite address. I'll try to set it up. The new account, I guess. All right. Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'm just, for anybody else like watching the VOD or whatever, I'm just gonna put the Discord link once again. Okay, hold on. So, Randy, I purchased. Yeah, feels bad. I have been scammed. Yep. We need keyboard shortcuts, Chad. After 6 million streams, Randy finally decides to do a tutorial on basic Unity UI. I technically did the most basic UI stuff in the tower defense tutorial, but I mean, it was super basic. Now next week, fingers crossed, we're gonna go more in depth, right? I purchased this game with the expectation that it would be changed to meet my expectations, which are the community's interests. I swear. All right. Where's the ray traced lighting? I didn't buy this 5090 with DLSS with this visual garbage. Yeah, grid looks. Jesus. This game that you have been developing in a few hours a week is not developing at a rate that pleases me. Yep. For them hard R VODers. Randy is a scammer. Don't click that. Jesus. All right, but anyways, yeah. So that's the plan for next week. First, we're gonna do uh, building placement and spawn mechanic. Then we're gonna do basic UI, and then hopefully, assuming you have enough time, we're gonna do introduction to 3D modeling and in Blender. I think there's only one L. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's the plan. Uh, you thought I was making a penis, didn't you, huh? All right. He's running with the early access money. He can't be trusted. Yep. Should have been time to get things straight. Yep. But yeah, anyways, so that's the plan for next week. Again, thanks for coming over, boys. Uh, it's super appreciated, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care. And again, if you have any questions, any comments, leave them in the comments or in the Discord server, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya. Kiss, kiss. Goodbye.